Yes. Hello and welcome to InvertiCast. I am here with Simon from the Mantis Garden. As always, hello, Simon.
Hello.
Hello. And I, of course, am Leah from Tarantula. And yeah, so today we're talking centipedes and millipedes. They are in a family known as Myriapoda or myriapods, which means many feet, which is ancient Greek wording meaning many feet. Very, very cool. So, yeah, I figured we would break down centipedes first. And basically, what that means is that they have a very long and segmented body, and each segment of their body has two legs, or actually, two legs because either side. Whereas millipedes, they have kind of a round, robust body that's long, and each body segment has two legs on either side, so four legs per body segment. Um, and so that's kind of like some of the differences between centipedes and millipedes. Also, centipedes are venomous. Oh, sure. What's up?
I was just going to say, there's a really easy way to tell the difference between a centipede and a millipede. If you don't know, is just look from the top. The legs of the centipede come out the side of the segments. The legs of a millipede come from underneath.
Absolutely. No, that's great
There's
information.
an easy way of sort of spotting it if you wasn't sure.
Yes. Okay. And so obviously Simon has a really big, beautiful centipede there on camera. What species is that?
This is an Achyspyrostreptus gigas, which is a giant African train millipede.
Very cool.
She's not adult yet. She's not adult yet.
Wow.
So she's going to get about that much bigger. She'll be a monster.
I love it.
The beauty of them is they live quite a long time. These larger millipedes. You can get 10, 15 years out of one of these.
Wow.
Which is, it's a serious pet. I mean, for me, especially, who's used to mantis, if you're lucky, if you get 18 months out of them. So, I mean,
right.
The last, well, it'd take me into retirement, put it that way.
Heck yeah. I think that's
you've got
amazing.
To think about those things when you buy stuff, haven't you? You've got to think, will I be dead?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I'm morbid tonight, aren't I? Yeah.
Well, I love that about millipedes and centipedes. They do have kind of a longer lifespan than some other arthropods, and definitely mantises. And they're also really fascinating. As we know, centipedes are predators, whereas millipedes are part of like cleanup crews. So they will eat like dead leaves, or dead leaf and foliage, and dead carcasses of other animals, things like that. So, and they also rejuvenate the soil. So once they eat all the dead stuff within the soil, like that soil becomes better for the environment, essentially, or for like more growth and seedlings and stuff.
I don't mind chopping on things like lichen as well, and they'll eat moss. They'll graze on moss. Obviously,
absolutely.
Like they prefer the rotting stuff if it's available, like your leaves, your wood. I should say dead animals, dead insects, other insects, and arthropods, and they'll just about eat anything really. I mean, this one at the moment has got a bit of peach that she's ignoring, but she seems to be doing what I wanted her to do, which is stay on the stick in focus so you can see her.
Yeah.
She's not like running up and down it and trying to get off or anything. She's just staying where I put her.
She's cooperating really well.
Yeah. It's unusual. It's unusual for an animal to do what you want it to do. But this one I sort of knew she would. She is really good. She doesn't mind the light. I do handle her more than most people handle millipedes. Generally keep them in a box and just go, oh, look, I've got a millipede or a tank. But this one actually gets handled. So she's quite good.
That's awesome.
When you pick her up or anything. But the best way to pick a millipede up is offer it your hand and let it crawl on your hand. Well, any arthropod really, but especially
Oh, sure.
Otherwise, they can curl up, and as you know, they can spray several chemicals on you. And I do believe you've got a list of those chemicals.
I do actually. Well, I know that they have the hydrogen cyanide. That's the main chemical that I found that they spray. So it can be really, really like irritating to your skin and very smelly. I know that there are a couple of species that will spray hydrochlor, the stomach acid.
Yeah.
Hydrochloric acid, essentially. So, which you definitely don't want on your skin because that can be very irritating. It'll cause some injury, some burning, and if it's not treated properly, it will definitely cause a bit of necrosis on your skin and whatnot. And so that can be very, very painful. But centipedes also can cause some pretty severe damage on a human being and on their skin. So they can cause like myocardial ischemia, which is just a lower percentage of oxygen flow to the heart. You usually see these kind of things or this medical I'm sorry, so like this condition, you usually see it if someone has like clogged arteries. So obviously, like that can cause heart attacks and that kind of thing, which obviously is incredibly severe, like life threatening. But they also can cause hemorrhaging and kidney failure, so some kidney issues as well. So it's pretty intense. So they call it rhabdomyolysis. Yeah, which basically means the damaged muscle tissues when they release the proteins and the electrolytes into the blood, it ends up damaging your heart and your kidneys. And so that's kind of where that comes from. And yeah, I mean that's kind of scary business, but they are absolutely fascinating creatures. They're beautiful, and of course they don't like to spray those toxins or bite unless they feel they absolutely have to. So it's a defensive mechanism. So yeah, like, do you have any experience with that with your millipedes at all? Like, have you been sprayed at all, or?
To be honest with you, no.
No. Okay. That's good.
Not with these guys, not with my pet ones, but with wild ones. Well, when gardening, I mean, our millipedes are tiny. They're nothing like your millipedes for a start. Okay, just like everything over in the UK is tiny. Like centipedes, you're looking at about an inch for a bigger centipede. Same millipede, I mean, inch and a half maybe. And when you pick one of those up, if you're gardening, you see when you pick one up, and you'll see it will secrete like a yellow secretion, isn't it? On your fingers, and that can be itchy and annoying, but nothing too bad.
It's pretty mild.
The glove here is not clickbait, by the way. This one tends to defend itself by pooping on you.
Okay.
So, pick her up. If you surprise her, she will just like release it, and she's not a small animal, so there's quite a lot of poop. And I didn't want to sit here for an hour with my hands full of poop. So that's why I've got the glove. But the other reason I've got the glove is for the sake of the millipede, because
absolutely,
it's on my hands. I don't want to irritate her. You see.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
there's quite a few creatures who
different species in here are more different. Yeah, I've got more species in here, and there's 4 or 5 different species that live together. Quite happily live together, and they also live with some isopods. So
amazing,
and they will live with things like giant land snails as well.
So amazing, that's so cool.
Really, really good pet for that reason, especially if you're having let's say a multi-species setup. A millipede is definitely a must. They just, because some of them, they're not all just big like this one. I've got one here that I like to see it. Unfortunately, it's eating a peach and it's stuffing its face, and I don't want to disturb it. But as you see, they're all different types. I mean, I've got this is like the bumblebee, which is quite a popular one, which is they're only small.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
The colours on them, with them being like a bee, yellow and black, which is very pretty. And then you've got another small one, which is I'll be damned if I can remember its scientific name. Somebody will know it. The pink dragon.
Oh, yes.
The pink dragon, which is the flat version of a millipede, but they're really, really are pretty, but they're very, very small. For me, anyway, I can't see anything. But
I've seen them. Yeah, they're really extraordinary. They're such cool little pets too. Like you can keep them with any like bioactive substrate or in terrariums and stuff like that, and they pretty much self-sustain so long as you put in like a plant that drops leaves every now and then, or have an animal in that bioactive enclosure that poops. They will clean all of that up, and it's really fascinating. Centipedes are awesome. There are actually 3,000 species of centipedes throughout the entire world. I believe there are 57 species of centipede in the UK. And where did I have that? I think there aren't a whole lot in the States either. I think there's like less than 100 or so here. But they're divided into 4 orders. So they basically are like soil centipedes, rock and garden centipedes, tropical or giant centipedes, those are the species that you're going to see more in the pet trade because they are just so large and a lot of them are really pretty. And then you've got your house or feather species of centipedes, and those again are kind of the larger ones, and those are the ones that you're going to see in the pet trade. So the last 2 families, the Scutopedromorpha and the and the Scutogyromorpha are also the venomous types, where their venom can be medically significant to people. Obviously, like there's always a risk of being bit by pretty much any animal that you keep. So, it's funny because I was just talking to Carrie, my partner, about how I've taken more bites from snakes than I have cats. But with snake bites, I have never had like an infection or any kind of issue like that. It's really just kind of a surface, little scrape, if you will. But with the cats, I took a bite from a cat that led to an infection that made my hand swell like so massively. And I ended up having to go to the hospital to get, antibiotics and stuff like that. So it's just kind of ironic that, people are kind of afraid of snakes and that kind of thing. But my experience has been very positive with snakes, and so arthropods as well. Like I've never been bitten by any of my tarantulas. So I really do believe that it's just a matter of reading that body language and making sure that you're taking those precautions, and you probably are not going to be bit. So centipedes, the front portion of their body has on their cranial portion, they have 2 pincher-like segments that are called what did they call them? Sorry?
Toxicogna.
Yes, exactly. You know.
Yeah, they're evil.
They can be, absolutely. But I thought that was really fascinating because they're similar to spiders in that way, that their pinchers go kind of horizontally rather than, like fangs. They have pinchers. So
they're modified legs, aren't they? They're actually modified legs.
Yeah, they're modified legs. Absolutely. It's fascinating. And so Yeah, and then I also found a few species of centipedes that are of some interest. So we've got the Alopus granditaria, and this is a type of feather tail centipede that is native to Africa. Um, so in the region of like Kenya, Tanzania, and Uganda, these guys get about 4 to 6 inches long, and they're black with orange legs. They will shake their tail that makes like a hissing sound. So that's like their defense mechanism, but they do also have the pinchers and they can bite. Um, and for the most part, like centipede bites are pretty mild. Like they're not super scary or medically significant. I mean, you're going to feel that irritation, and of course, all of them have histamines, so it's going to be like an allergic reaction. So kind of like mosquitoes. When a mosquito bites you, it's those histamines that create that itchy, irritated sensation. So same idea with centipedes. But the reason I thought the feather tail from Africa was really interesting is that I think that this is the centipede that most people think of when they think of pet centipedes because it has that dark coloration and those yellow legs. I've seen like quite a few streamers that like will show that exact centipede, and they're very popular here in the States because they are large and they're colorful and really cool and pretty. It's fun to watch them eat. They are carnivorous, which means they prey on insects, so they're insectivores, but a lot of centipedes will eat spiders as well and tarantulas. So, little known fact, or maybe fun little factoid for you. Maybe that's why you like them because you don't like tarantulas.
Yes. I do like that's their only redeeming feature. They are a terrifying actual animal, but I had them in the past. How big this bugger is, it's got to grow bigger.
Yeah.
I do like centipedes. I have noticed in our pet trade, as you just said, you're getting a lot from Africa.
Yeah.
We have a lot of the Southeast Asian sort of centipedes available here.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of them. Thailand and Malaysia and places like that. I can't name any of them, to be honest with you. A lot of the Scolopendras and is it the Dahani or is that the other one?
The other one is let me read it again. Sotageromorpha. So, Scudageromorpha. So, yeah, you got this, the Scudageromorpha, so Scutopelma, and then you got your Scutropelma. And so those are the two that are usually pretty popular for keepers to have. We haven't got any questions yet, so that's interesting. Maybe we're doing good at answering questions.
Must be.
Right?
Scooties, I'm going to have to look that up later because there's mantis with the same genus name.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to look that up and find out what it means now. It must be something they have in common.
Yeah, absolutely. I would assume so because I mean a lot of insects are cousins to other insects.
Yeah.
Like crickets are known to be a cousin to or like kind of adjacently related to mantises. And so it's pretty interesting. I mean, they have they're somehow in the taxonomy that they're kind of, and there's like a long list of
we're all related, aren't we? So,
yeah, somewhere in their evolution. It's kind of like
but
it's the same way that like
Orthoptera, crickets, grasshoppers, Orthoptera, the mantis, Mantidea, and then you've got these guys, which are Myriapoda, and then Isopoda, and there's so many. Oh, taxonomy. We need to do something on taxonomy because it's very
we do. I think taxonomy is
9% of people, and I think 10% entomologists will just get confused with taxonomy because it's such a confusing subject.
It really is, and there's a lot to it. So, yeah, I agree.
All the time, which is another thing. they'll find something. Like they're finding centipedes now and millipedes now. As you said earlier, they found one in the last 10 years, wasn't it?
Yeah. This the millipede from California. They actually come from the Sierra Nevada region. So it's a pretty big portion of California, or a pretty big portion in the southeast region of the United States. So that it encompasses like a portion of Arizona, Nevada, California. But there's a millipede that was found there that was found to be bioluminescent, and so that's the Zystocare bistipede. So they're cool. They glow in the dark, and they believe that they glow in the dark or they're bioluminescent in an effort to deal with the heat of the Sierra Nevada. Um, so that's fascinating. I mean, they're not completely sure why it's bioluminescent, but so far that's kind of the theory. And as far as I know, that's the only species of millipede that is bioluminescent. So it's really fascinating that uh, that's a thing. I think
do you know what fascinates me the most about that?
Yeah.
It's in America. It's in a place that's populated.
And
there's been, it's not like they haven't found it in the Yucatan Peninsula. They haven't found it in the depths of the Amazon. It's somewhere where people are all the time.
All the time. Yeah.
And it's like saying we found a new creature.
Yeah.
Where humans are commonplace. So I find that most fascinating. I always find that when they find a new species of something in the UK, I mean, it's only a tiny island and there's 70 million of us on it, and yet it's the first time we've seen this, and that always amazes me when you find something new in a populated area. You're thinking, how have you missed that?
Right. Right. I agree.
Scary.
Like it's really funny and just kind of weird. Like it's right under your foot, because most millipedes live, underneath leaf litter and kind of underground. So they're definitely not quite as visible as other creatures, but definitely something that there's a lot of building and construction and whatnot in these areas. Like, how did you not find this before? It's so weird.
It's even worse that it glows in the dark.
Right? I love that it glows in the dark, but how ironic. Like, yeah, how did you not find? Yeah, so really funny when we find species of things that like just seem like it should be super obvious and much older in our taxonomic information. Absolutely. All right, so
sorry.
Go ahead.
Well, one of the things I remember reading was like the biggest millipede.
Okay.
The biggest myriapod they ever found was a millipede, and I was always amazed when I hear of it here, and it was actually in Scotland. The fossil was in Scotland, and it was absolutely huge. I think it was 2 meters long with millipede, so maybe a bit more than that. Which is just over 6 foot. So that's some serious creature.
Wow. Yeah. Definitely.
It was here, so it just proves how the climate must have been really weird at the time towards it is now. I'm just always amazed when something here is found that is like, oh, that's the biggest. I'm like, no way. Big. Never.
Right.
But yeah.
Well, and it's also, I think their names are kind of funny too, because, when you hear centi, you're thinking 100, right? Or a century.
Yeah.
That's kind of, that's just where the name comes from. And we think, okay, it has 100 legs. No, actually, they don't have quite 100 legs for a centipede. And same with a millipede. You think milli, so million or 1,000. Milli is 1,000, sorry. But
milli is 1,000, isn't it? Because milli is the Latin for 1,000.
1,000, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's funny because they don't have 1,000 legs. They only have, like, the largest one has maybe 100 or so.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of ironic. Even their name is very even their names are kind of misleading, if you will.
I suppose.
Look at your girl go. She's just chilling. I love it.
Yeah, she's a really, really, really good pet. I mean, she's awesome. We took her for a photo shoot in July, and we just give her a stick, and she performed, and she loads of great photographs of her, just doing her thing, and
Yeah, she seems very comfortable.
Yeah, she's getting up. She's having a munch of this peach now, and then she'll just wander off again. But yeah, I think they are brilliant pets. So if you ever like wondering about them, whether you should get one, my answer to that is yes.
They're so cool.
The tiny ones, the life expectancy isn't as long, and I don't know. They seem a little more sensitive than these big things.
Sure.
You can just chuck this in a box of substrate, and it'll be quite happy. This one's
throw a little leaf litter in there. They're good.
So wood and branches and stuff, and there's moss in there, and so she's got. I wish I had another camera down here that I could have left on in the box. But then I can't leave the lid off because this one can actually climb out of the box.
Yeah, you were saying that. So yeah, let's talk about that. Their strength.
There's a story behind getting this millipede. I didn't buy this. This was a friend who bought this millipede. His wife bought it when it was about this big.
Oh wow!
Shop, and they put it in a big box with some substrate. It burrowed, of course, and then they never saw it for months and months and months. And then one day they thought it was dead, and then one day she looked up and it was on the curtain rail, wandering across the curtain rail. This sort of size, well, a little bit smaller than this. And her husband rang me up and said, "Do you want a bloody millipede? Because it's terrifying." So
that's amazing.
We put with the rest of the millipedes, and they all get along quite well. So
that's amazing. That is so cool. Well, since we're on the subject of millipedes, we can talk about that there are 7,000 species of millipedes throughout the entire world. 1,400 of those species occur right here in the U.S. And I believe I wrote down that there are 62 species that occur in the U.K.
Yeah.
Some of them, obviously not all species of millipedes produce the hydrogen cyanide toxin that they might spray. But they're pretty cool. Like, yeah, there are a couple of species that I felt were noteworthy. One is called the chocolate millipede, or Ophistrapus ganensis.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, they're native to
such silly names. It's very
I'm so terrible with the scientific names, but they're native to.
It's not a novel thing. I don't know if you can even see that. Oops, she fell off.
Oh,
don't worry, all far. That's the ivory millipede, which is one of yours, I believe. You have these in the wild, so.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, definitely.
Nice striking millipede. This is an adult one. It's an adult, so I wish you'd stop doing that. Grab on. This is an adult.
They never do what we want them to do.
She keeps falling off. They're quite armored, so it's not that bad with millipedes. I mean, I don't mean drop them out your window, but you can only drop them this far. It's not such a big deal.
They're a little hardier, yeah, than like spiders or another arthropod that like a drop would kill,
Yeah.
I can imagine.
These are quite tough. I mean, they'll often climb up something like this and fall off. So, they'd be doing that in the wild. It's
that's cool.
Not a big deal. I mean, that's one of yours. I do believe.
Yeah, the chocolate millipede.
Tiny.
They get pretty large. They get about 9 inches in length, so they get pretty long for sure.
Well, that one doesn't actually. That one's I think about 4 inches the ivory.
Okay, yeah.
But some of them, like you say, they get massive.
We also have desert millipedes, or the Othroporus ornatus. They're native to the southwest United States and northern Mexico, and they also get to about 9 inches.
That's
And
all.
they're right, yeah. Well, I thought that this was also a noteworthy species of millipede because they are actually diurnal. So instead of nocturnal, they will spend most of their time being active during the day, which is really uncommon for a lot of like arthropod species and anything like that.
Well, it's
And
better
then
generally because of their eyes, isn't it?
I
I
believe
mean,
so, yeah, yeah. Well,
terrible eyesight. If you look at the other diurnal ones, which is like the mantis,
uh-huh,
jumping spider, they've all
uh-huh.
got good vision, and the ones that
They've
good
got
vision.
great yeah, excellent.
This is a Thai rainbow, which you can't see, but trust me, it's
Oh,
one.
beautiful. Yeah, the
There's so
Thai
many in
rainbow.
here. I don't know what they are because just when I get new millipede, it just goes in here with these, and it just comes to you. But these, as you notice, the other one kept falling off. This one's like glue.
How cool.
This one's really hard to get off your hand.
Oh, wow.
I don't
No.
want to grab it. You've got to sort of encourage it to wander off. I was hoping, because I have another big millipede in here, but I can't find it. We've got a couple of them, which is the spike-tail millipede, which is
Oh, yeah.
a big one like this. He's just like, I'd say it was chocolate rather than black.
Okay.
Chocolate and yellow sort of stripes, which is a really, really pointy tail, which is a really cool millipede to have.
Absolutely.
I might be spin there. My eyes are terrible. I have to wait till we get bigger. I'll have one batch, but they've been your ivory millipede. So we'll have to see what else we get out of them.
I believe it's the ivory millipede. That one's native to like Florida and kind of the southeast region of the states, with Carolinas and this kind of the swampy wetlands part of the Appalachias.
I find that they're always on the surface.
Mm-hmm.
They don't burrows. I mean, sometimes they do, like in the molting shedding, of course.
Sure.
They burrow down and then pop back up again. But they do tend to. Well, there's one here now. There's one here on, as I was saying before, just on the stick, which is here. And that's like that in the box. So, as I was saying, you just climb up the stick, eat the lichen off the stick.
Sure.
Fall off half the time, but no big deal. But yeah, they're always on the surface. The ivory millipedes.
They are. Well, they feast on that leaf litter and any of the dead organic materials that are on the surface of the ground and the forest and whatnot. So it makes total sense that that's where you would find them.
This
Definitely.
Cheeky. She's always out anyway because she's always just looking for something to eat.
That's so cool.
Constantly.
I definitely have a more of an affinity for millipedes than I do centipedes.
Yeah.
Mainly because they're not quite like, they're not venomous, they're not really scary, and they're actually kind of cute. If you look really close at their faces, they're kind of cute. They have like a real round, kind of a happy face looking thing, and their legs are so short and tiny. Like it's really kind of surprising how fast they can move. But I think they're a fascinating creature and just an awesome pet all around. Because just for those factors, plus they come with, like you said, the bumblebee millipede and the ivory millipede. They come in all kinds of beautiful colors. The Thai rainbow millipede. So I mean, they're a popular pet probably for that reason, and I'm always fascinated with creatures like this, just because they're awesome.
I think the other thing with the millipedes is centipede is really for somebody who knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
Whereas your millipede owner, it's like the next step up from being an isopod keeper.
Mm-hmm.
Go to millipedes. And it's nice and easy to sort of deal with. There's no live feeding, and there's, so millipedes are quite a lot more popular than centipedes in that regard.
Well, they're definitely a really good, like, passive kind of pet. Like, you don't really have to feed them consistently. You don't have to, you know, be checking on them daily or anything like that. Like, it's really just a matter of, you probably check on them weekly and you're good, as long as they've got some leaf litter or, organic matter that's dead or you just don't need or whatever, they're going to take care of that. And you just throw that in the enclosure. It's good. Call it good. Whereas centipedes,
All the time, constantly. If it's crap, I just throw it in the, either the isopods or the
like
tail.
I've got
devour it, and that includes.
Yeah, I've got a little red wiggler worm that
quite a lot that they come to the end of their life to die.
Yeah.
I'm not going to bury them. Okay, so I just chuck them in there and say bye bye.
I'm like that with the isopods. With my isopods, every now and then I'll have a molt or maybe a spider that has come to the end of its life or something like that. Isopods take care of it, but I'm actually really thinking I want to get some millipedes because they're probably a little bit better at that than the isopods.
That's something else. I mean, I did notice. I've got, as I said, I've got a friend. I've got two over there in California that have invert businesses similar to my own, and the prices of the millipedes, like this particular millipede here, you probably talk about £8, £10 maybe to buy one of these. And I noticed in America, it was looking at $100.
Oh, easy. Yeah.
For this girl was $100. And I was like absolutely amazed at the different prices. I mean,
I am too. I'm always amazed that, certain species just seem to be a little cheaper than others. But in the UK, you guys got it made. You're not spending a whole lot of money. Whereas
it's a hobby. If you haven't got a lot of money, it is a good hobby to get into. If you want a pet, but you can't afford a dog, for instance, but you still want a pet.
Of course.
Lash out a £10 note and a plastic box from the supermarket, and you've got a pet.
Yeah, so. Absolutely. And as I always kind of advocate for my pets, with my tarantulas, with isopods, with mantises, they're great creatures because they keep me grounded. They keep me in the moment. And so for me, it's about mental health, but also because I love them. And these are creatures that, most people are afraid of, and they don't really see them as like cute, cuddly pets, which, yeah, they're right. They're not cute, cuddly, but they are definitely creatures that deserve respect and love as much as dogs and cats. Because they
cute and cuddly, to be honest with you.
They are cute. I know, right? Like
I can sit with this one. I can put this one on my desk, or I can leave it on a stick. And sleep on a stick, and I find that awesome.
I think they're awesome. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're just not the traditional idea of what cute and cuddly is. But I think my tarantulas are cute too. I mean, the big calitherae and the tiny little eyes, they look like cute little old men. How is that not cute?
Yeah, you can keep those. Cute little old men never attracted me. You can keep them. I think. But as you know, I don't mind true spiders. I won't take true spiders. They're dangerous than tarantulas. So it's not the fear of being bitten. It's just that I don't know. It's the way they walk and the hairiness, and it literally makes me feel uncomfortable. Makes me feel uncomfortable. I don't realize it always has. Tarantulas always freak me out. I don't know why. I've seen something as a child that bothered me. Now I can't cope with them because, like, I'm literally surrounded by bugs on every side. There is some kind of, and a lot of them can bite, and it's like, no problem. But that little corner over there where those tarantulas are bothers me. You know, I like it. But the rest of it, fine. So
all good.
like these guys, the first question I get when people talk about millipedes is always about they've got cyanide. Thanks, Google. So if anybody does one thing in their life when they're going to get a pet, we always say do the research.
Yes.
But when we say do the research, that doesn't mean type its name in Google.
And learn what you can about it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Don't just trust the first thing that comes up in Google.
Right.
It's an article written by somebody who's never had one or probably never even seen a life in one. So what you need to do is find somebody who has one and is willing to speak to you about them. That's how you learn. That's your research. Forget research papers as well. Half of them are a load of rubbish anyway. But yeah, no, truly they are.
Yeah.
Anything written by anybody from a university, I just don't trust it. Absolutely don't trust it. I need to see it myself. And if it tallies with what they're saying, I believe it. If it doesn't, which I have noticed quite a few times, I've corrected quite a few of them, which is
it's mind-blowing, right?
Yeah, it really is for me. But if you're going to look for a new pet, please find someone who has one. Speak to them, chat with them, ask them all the questions. You'll find that 99.9% of the time, that person will be willing to talk to you about it. You're not bothering them and annoying them with your silly questions.
No, not at all.
They have the books, which means they love talking about them. So the more questions you ask, they will love it. They will actually enjoy it. I like it. And I get so many people asking me every single day or every bit of social media asking questions about mantis.
Oh,
and
same.
I still try to take the time to answer every single one of them.
Absolutely. Of course.
So say, go away and do Google or stop annoying me.
You
want to answer those people. You want to help those people because that brings them into the hobby. And they might find something out that we don't know.
Right. Absolutely. I mean,
their knowledge of, and at the end of the day, we all know a little bit more. I mean, that's what it's all about, isn't it?
Absolutely. And that's kind of the idea behind our podcast. You know, InvertiCast, we developed this idea around the fact that when we talk to one another about creatures that we're keeping and we're spreading information, and it really helps the hobby kind of evolve and grow. And so the idea behind this is just, putting a bit of information out there and, hopefully somebody sees it and, their fear of centipedes is reduced a little bit, or their fear of millipedes is reduced, or their something like that. And they feel more comfortable with the world that they live in, because let's face it, these arthropods are everywhere. They're a big part of the environment. They're a huge part of the ecosystem. And so, anywhere in the world that you go outside of Antarctica, you're going to find arthropods. You're going to have bugs. There's going to be spiders. There're going to be millipedes and centipedes. Like they're, all throughout the world. So I think it's really good for people to be able to be more informed and knowledgeable of these creatures, and it helps them feel more comfortable in the world they live in. So yeah, that's kind of my take on it.
They're also a great conversation starter.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
people are always interested. Nobody ever said to anyone, "Oh, you keep tarantulas." They want to know more. They want to know if it's ever bitten you. They want to know all the details about it. Just don't tell them too much. It'll make them bored. But, always something. Windswept and interesting is a great way to be. And having books really, really is a way to be that person, because not everybody does it. So it's a really
true.
Good one.
We're definitely a definite uncommon breed of people. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry.
I was going to say the same. isn't it? With a time delay, you got like that split second time delay, and you're like, oh, is it finished? Yeah.
Right.
It's so hard. Otherwise, you get that awkward silence where you both stop talking. Do you think, right, they're definitely finished now? Yeah, so whatever. I mean, it's like, I'll say I did an interview this week with for a newspaper. And,
cool.
and the guy was asking me so many questions, and I could hear in his voice how amazed he was about all the creatures that I had in here and elsewhere in the house. And he's blown away with the idea of having bugs as pets.
Yeah, right.
Even though he was doing the article, it was, you'd think he would have researched a little bit and realized there's not only me doing it,
Yeah.
But he was so blown away. It was, and the conversation that he said, "Oh, 10, 15 minutes, we'll just ask you some questions." It ended up like over an hour just chatting because he had that many extra questions once he realized, that what was involved, and it was. That's how it is for everybody. So it can help you with if you're one of them people who are uncomfortable around other people, let's say.
Absolutely.
Or you're introvert, or you're antisocial.
Yeah.
But if you start getting into books and things like this, you'll find you'll get knowledgeable about them, and all of a sudden you find yourself in crowds telling a crowd of people all about your books.
Yeah.
So it really helps with your mental health. I don't have any issues with my mental health. I've got to say that. But I have seen other people with issues. But when they've started keeping books, it's helped them so much.
There's something about it, something about keeping arthropods that really helps people be able to, like you said, be social with other people. I am somewhat introverted. I mean, I'm really good about, being like charismatic and personable when I meet people. But at the end of the day, it definitely is something that I'm kind of like, okay, too much social activity, But when I can talk to other people about, the tarantulas that I keep and the different species, and when I go on and on about them, I mean, that really helps me to be able to say, hey, check this out. Oh, I'm going to teach you this. Or do you have questions? I'm happy to answer them. So yeah, definitely there's a huge social, what is it, like a bridge, to that communication.
Yeah.
For sure. And I millipedes and centipedes, this is something that I've never kept these creatures before, and I don't have any at the moment. But I will say that I really enjoyed learning what I did about them for this week's episode, because now I'm kind of fascinated. Now I'm like, okay, now I got to check out the ivory millipedes. I want one. Yeah, dude, the giant African, the chocolate millipede from Africa. They're fascinating creatures. They're really cool. It's a whole different side of keeping arthropods that I would love to share that with my friends and people who want to know. So I think it's awesome.
It's just brilliant. I mean, we should do something on mental health. Pick a week, right? I know they have mental awareness weeks and things like that. I'm not well on it because, as I say, I don't have any of those issues, so I don't get to know these things unless I see someone put some on Facebook. So so it's rare, but we should do something like that.
We do actually. Speaking of, because next week is pretty exciting for InvertiCast. We are going to have a special guest. We're going to have Britton from the Spider Courage Experience. And so, speaking of mental health, she actually helps people get through phobias of spiders, essentially. And I'm sure she probably does it for other arthropods if that arise. I'm sure she could. But we're going to be talking with her about that. And so, yeah, I'm really looking forward to interviewing her, and hopefully it's going to be a really great episode. And so I felt like that was a really great segue, the mental health, and then So maybe the episode after that, we can discuss why so many people with mental health concerns are drawn to arthropods and keeping them and what it does for them. So great idea, Simon. Absolutely.
Fair enough.
You're so smart. You're so smart.
Well,
absolutely.
Hopefully, I'm going to struggle with the spiders, but each week we do this. Hopefully, I've got something that I can leave hanging around here.
Yeah, I love it.
So, some of the creatures probably not the hairdo, but I'd like to do that. So it'd be cool, depending on what we're doing. I might even try and set up some of the camera. Like, for instance, who was doing isopods, just looking in an isopod bin or something. So you got something on the side, and I'll just talk at the top. But yeah, I'll try and I've got so many things in here. I think we've got 16 or 17 different kinds of animals.
Yeah.
Here. From scorpions to spiders and so it'd be nice to, we've got plenty to go on with. I reckon.
Absolutely.
If anybody can think of anything, bang it in the comments.
Yeah, plug it down below. We're happy to answer questions and dive deep into subjects.
After you click like, subscribe, and share.
Absolutely, please do. Yes, we're doing this for you guys. We're doing it for you. So okay, well that leads me into kind of our goodbye session. This is what we do. I'll go ahead and go first with my shameless plugs. I am still editing a video that I made this week. I know I said that I was going to be doing like a rehousing of a bunch of spiders, and I'm still doing that. But change of plans this week. I went to the Butterfly Pavilion, and because it's October and Halloween is coming up, they actually did a spooky, spectacular spider thing, and they had a whole bunch of tarantulas on display and whatnot. And then also in the actual butterfly area, they kind of sectioned off a small portion of their indoor jungle, and they allowed for, I believe, three different species of orb weaving spiders. They just kind of released them and let them do their thing. And so I have a bunch of cool footage. I just need to do a couple of things to release that video, but I'm going to be releasing it hopefully tonight. If not tonight, it will be released tomorrow. I just want to make sure it's nice and pretty and everybody likes it. But I'm also going to a reptile expo tomorrow, and I'm going to be meeting a fan there. So if you are in the Denver area and you want to meet me, I will be at the the Reptile Nation Expo this weekend. And then next weekend, as I plugged before, we are going to be interviewing Britton from the Spider Courage experience. So I'm really looking forward to that. And so, yeah, be looking out for the promotion stuff. We'll have that all available. And that's all I've got. How about you, Simon? What's up? What's new?
I haven't made a video for quite a while. I've been suffering with my neck. I have neck problems. So I've not been able to make any videos. I hope I might get round to making one this week with a bit of luck. My channel, of course, is Mantis Garden. So if you want to go there, go there. If you don't. It's up to you.
Of course.
Like and subscribe to this channel. Is what I would like to plug. That is it. That is my thing. Oh, cool. Buy Mantis from me. Yeah, that's the other one.
Wonderful. I love it. As always, I love supporting Mantis Garden. I love your channel, Simon, just so you know. It's a lot of fun. I liked your most recent, you had a short that you made of the mantis that was kind of giving you a little chewing there on your finger. I thought that was really interesting.
Stop that. Don't remind me. You'll bite me again. Yeah.
But yes, check it out.
If I can't make a full video because of this, I'll try and just get a short in now and again.
Yes.
Just to let people know that I am doing stuff.
You're still alive.
Yeah, doing stuff like that. It's not like a dead channel or anything. It's just like to throw a quick shot in. I can't remember. Something might turn up this week. I might do an unboxing.
Okay.
Because they take 10 minutes to make. I've got to do
Cool.
it anyway, so it's not like I have to prepare anything. A knife and my table. I turn the camera on. That's it. So I might do an unboxing this week. I don't know. I think I'm expecting some mantis. Not sure. So it'll just be a quick mantis unbox. I do intend to do a video for the end of Halloween, because last year in October I made a terrarium, a Halloween terrarium.
Oh, how fun!
And it's like a small thing like this. But it's been on the kitchen window for a year. So
amazing.
I've not even looked in it, so I've never touched it. So I want to see what it looks like now and do an update on it. So I'll be doing
an update, yeah.
Yeah. So a 1 year update, a 1 year birthday update for the Halloween thing. And I might
that sounds wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be fantastic, Simon. I'm looking forward to that.
I'll have a go.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for watching. Thanks for tuning in. I hope to see you next week. And goodbye for InvertiCast. We'll see you all later.
See you later.